For a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention, a kingdom for a stage, princes to act, and monarchs to behold the swelling scene. Then should the warlike Harry, like himself, assume the port of Mars, and at his heels, leashed in like hounds, should famine, sword, and fire crouch for employment. But pardon, gentles all, the flat, unraised spirits that have dared on this unworthy scaffold to bring forth so great an object. Can this cockpit hold the vasty fields of France? Or may we cram within this wooden ode the very casks that did affright the air at Agincourt? Oh, pardon, since a crooked figure may in little space attest 1,000,000. And let us, ciphers to this great account, on your imaginary forces work. Suppose within the girdle of these walls are now confined 2 mighty monarchies, whose high upreared and abutting fronts the perilous narrow ocean parts asunder. Piece out our imperfections with your thoughts, and make imaginary puissance. Think when we talk of horses that you see them, printing their proud hoofs in the receiving earth. For 'tis your thoughts that must now deck our kings. Carry them here and there, jumping o'er times, turning the accomplishment of many years into an hourglass. For the which supply, admit me chorus to this history. Prologue like your humble patience pray, gently to hear, kindly to judge our play.
Colin the messenger sent from the Dauphin. Now we are well resolved, and by God's help and yours, the noble sinews of our power, France being ours, will bend it to our awe. Now, are we well prepared to know the pleasure of our fair cousin Dauphin, for we hear your greeting is from him, not from the king.
May it please your majesty to give us leave freely to render what we have in charge, or shall we sparingly show you far off the Dauphin's meaning and our embassy?
We are no tyrant, but a Christian king, under whose grace our passion is as subject as are our wretches fettered in our prisons. Therefore with frank and with uncurbed plainness tell us the Dauphin's mind.
Thus then, in few. Your highness, lately sending into France, did claim some certain dukedoms in the right of your great predecessor, King Edward III. In answer of which claim, the prince, our master, says that you savor too much of your youth, and bids you be advised there's naught in France that can be with a nimble galliard one. You cannot rebel into dukedoms there. He therefore sends you, meter for your spirits, this ton of treasure, and in of this, desires you let the dukedoms that you claim hear no more of you. This the Dauphin speaks.
What treasure, uncle?
Tennis balls, my liege.
We are glad the Dauphin is so pleasant with us. His present and your pains we thank you for. When we have marched our rackets to these balls, we will in France, by God's grace, play a set shall strike his father's crown into the hazard. We never valued this poor seat of England, and therefore, living hence, did give ourselves to barbarous license, as 'tis ever common that men are merriest when they are from home. But tell the Dauphin I will keep my state, be like a king, and show my sail of greatness when I do rouse me in my throne of France. But I will rise there with so full a glory that I will dazzle all the eyes of France, yea, strike the Dauphin blind to look on us, and tell the pleasant prince this mock of his hath turned his balls to gunstones, and his soul shall stand sore charged for the wasteful vengeance that shall fly with them. For many 1,000 widows shall this his mock out of their dear husbands, mock mothers from their sons, mock castles down. And some are yet ungotten and unborn that shall have cause to curse the Dauphin's scorn. But this lies all within the will of God, to whom I do appeal, and in whose name tell you the Dauphin I am coming on, to venge me as I may, and to put forth my rightful hand in a well-hallowed cause. So get you hence in peace, until the Dauphin his jest will savor but of shallow wit, when thousands weep more than did laugh at it. Convey them with safe counsel. Fare you well.
This was a merry message.
We hope to make the sender blush at it. Therefore, my lords, omit no happy hour that may give furtherance to our expedition, for we have now no thought in us but France, save those to God that run before our business. Therefore, let our proportions for these wars be soon collected, and all things thought upon that may with reasonable swiftness add more feathers to our wings, for God before will chide this Dauphin at his father's door. Therefore, let every man now task his thought that this fair action may on foot be brought.
Even though you are young, you are not absolutely invulnerable, for sure, because we're seeing cases. Most of them have some underlying disease, but several don't, who are young people, 30s, 40s, who are getting sick, getting into the hospital, requiring intensive care.
Now all the youth of England are on fire, and silken dalliance in the wardrobe lies. Now thrive the armorers, and honor's thought reigns solely in the breast of every man. They sell the pasture now to buy the horse, following the mere of all Christian kings with winged heels as English Mercuries. For now sits expectation in the air, and hides a sword from hilts unto the point, with crowns imperial, crowns and coronets, promised to Harry and his followers. The French, advised by good intelligence of this most dreadful preparation, shake in their fear, and with pale policy seek to divert the English purposes.
Thus comes the English with full power upon us, and more than carefully it us concerns to answer royally in our defenses. Therefore the Dukes of Berry and of Bretagne, and of Brabant, and of Orleans, shall make forth, and you, Prince Dauphin, with all swift dispatch, to line and new repair our towns of war with men of courage, and with means defended. For England his approaches makes as fierce as waters to the sucking of a gulf. It fits us then to be as provident, as fear may teach us out of late examples, left by the fatal and neglected English upon our fields.
My most redoubted father, it is most meet we arm us against the foe. For peace itself should not so dull a kingdom, though war nor quarrel were in question, but that defenses, musters, preparations should be maintained, assembled and collected as were a war in expectation. Therefore, I say 'tis meet we all go forth to view the sick and feeble parts of France, and let us do it with no show of fear. No, with no more than if we heard that England were busied with a Whitsun Morris dance. For my good liege, she is so idly kinged, her scepter so fantastically borne by a vain, giddy, shallow, humorous youth that fear attends her not.
Oh, peace, Prince Dauphin. You are too much mistaken in this king. Question your great the late ambassadors with what great states he heard their embassy, how well supplied with noble counselors, how modest in exception, and withal how terrible in constant resolution. And you shall find his vanities forespent were but the outside of the Roman Brutus, covering discretion with a coat of folly, as gardeners do with ordure hide those roots that shall first spring and be most delicate.
Well, 'tis not so, my lord high constable. But though we think it so, it is no matter. In cases of defense, 'tis best to weigh the enemy more mighty than he seems. So the proportions of defense are filled, which of a weak or niggardly projection doth, like a miser, spoil his coat with scanting a little cloth.
Think we King Harry strong, and princess, look you strongly armed to meet him. The kindred of him hath been fleshed upon us, and he is bred out of that bloody strain that haunted us in our familiar paths. Witness our too much memorable shame when Cressy battle fatally was struck, and all our princes captive by the hand of that black name, Edward, Black Prince of Wales. This is a stern of that victorious stock, and let us fear the native mightiness and fate of him. Go bring the ambassador in. You see this chase is hotly followed, friends.
Turn head and stop pursuit. For coward dogs most spend their mouths when what they seem to threaten runs far before them. Good my sovereign, take up the English sword and let them know of what a monarchy you are the head. Self-love, my liege, is not so vile a sin as self-neglecting.
From our brother England.
From him. And thus he greets your majesty. He wills you in the name of God Almighty that you divest yourself and lay apart the borrowed glories that by gift of heaven, by law of nature and of nations, long to him and his heirs, namely, the crown, and all wide-stretched honours that pertain by custom and the ordinance of times unto the crown of France. He sends you this most memorable line in every branch truly demonstrative, willing to overlook this pedigree. And when you find him evenly derived from his most famed or famous ancestors, Edward III, he bids you then resign your crown and kingdom, indirectly held from him the native and true challenger.
Or else what follows?
Bloody constraint. For if you hide the crown, even in your hearts, there will he wake for it. Therefore in fierce tempest is he coming in thunder and in earthquake, like a Jove, that if requiring fail, he will compel, and bids you, in the bowels of the Lord, deliver up the crown, and to take mercy on the poor souls for whom this hungry war opens his vasty jaws. And on your head, turning the widow's tears, the orphan's cries, the dead men's blood, pining maidens' groans for husbands, fathers, and betrothed lovers, that shall be swallowed in this controversy. This is his claim, his threatening, and my message. Unless the Dauphin be in presence here, to whom expressly I will bring greetings too.
For us, we will consider of this further. Tomorrow shall you bear our full intent back to our brother England.
For the Dauphin, I stand here for him. What to him from England?
Scum, scum, and defiance. Scorn and defiance. Slight regard, contempt, and anything that may not misbecome the mighty sender doth he prize you at. Thus says my king, and if your father's highness do not ingrant all demands at large, sweeten the bitter mock you sent his majesty, he will call you to so hot an answer of it, that caves and woomy voltages of France shall chide your trespass and return your mock in second accent of his coordinates.
Say, if my father render fair return, it is against my will, for I desire nothing but odds with England. To that end, as matching to his youth and vanity, I did present him with the Paris balls.
He'll make your Paris Louvre shake for it. We're at the mistress court of mighty Europe, and be assured you'll find a difference, as we his subjects have in wonder found, between the promise of his greener days and these he masters now. Now he weighs time, even to the utmost grain, that you shall read in your own losses if he stay in France.
Tomorrow shall you know our mind at full.
Dispatch us with all speed, lest our king come here himself to question our delay, for he is footed in this land already.
You shall be soon dispatched with fair conditions. A night is but a small breath and a little pause to answer matters of this consequence.
Thus with imagined wing our swift scene flies, in motion of no less celerity than that of thought. Suppose that you have seen the well-appointed king at Hampton Pier embark his royalty, and his brave fleet with silken streamers the young Phoebus fanning. Play with your fancies, and in them behold upon the hempen tackle ship boys climbing. Hear the shrill whistle which doth order give to sounds confused. Behold the threatened sails borne with the invisible and creeping wind. Draw the huge bottoms through the furrowed sea, breasting the lofty surge. Oh, do but think! You stand upon the ravage, and behold, a city on the inconstant billows dancing. For so appears this fleet majestical, holding due course to Harfleur. Suppose the ambassador for the French comes back, tells Harry that the king doth offer him Catherine his daughter, and with her to dowry some petty and unprofitable dukedoms. The offer likes not, and the nimble gunner with the linstock now the devilish cannon touches, and down goes all before them. Still, be kind, and eke out our performance with your mind.
Once more unto the breach, dear friends, once more, or close the wall up with our English dead. In peace, there's nothing so becomes a man as modest stillness and humility, but when the blast of war blows in our ears, then imitate the action of the tiger. Stiffen up the sinews, summon up the blood. Disguise fair nature with hard-favored rage, then lend the eye a terrible aspect. Let pry through the portage of the head like the brass cannon, let the brow o'erwhelm it, as fearfully as doth a galled rock o'erhang a jutty his confounded base, swilled with the wild and wasteful ocean. Now set the teeth, and stretch the nostril wide. Hold hard the breath, and bend up every spirit to his full height. On! On, you noblest English, whose blood is fet from fathers of war-proof. Fathers, like so many Alexanders, have in these parts from morn till even fought, and sheathed their swords for lack of argument. Dishonor not your mothers. Now attest that those whom you called fathers did beget you. Be copied now to men of grosser blood, and teach them how to war. And you, good yeomen, whose limbs were made in England, show us here the mettle of your pasture. Let us swear that you are worth your breeding, which I doubt not, for there is none of you so mean and base that hath not noble lustre in your eyes. I see you stand like greyhounds in the slips, straining upon the start. The game's afoot. Follow your spirit, and upon this charge, cry, God, for Harry, England, and St. George.
Alice, tu es été Angleterre et tu parles les langues.
Un peu, madame.
Je t'ai pris m'enseigner. Il faut que je le appeler. Comment appelez-vous le mot anglais?
Le mot, elle est appelée the hand.
The hand. Et les doigts?
Les doigts, oh ma fou, j'oublie les doigts. Mais je me souviendrai. Les doigts, je pense qu'ils sont appelés de fingers.
Le mot de hand. Les doigts des fingers. Je pense que je suis le bon écolier. J'ai gagné des mots d'anglais de vêtements. Comment appelez-vous les ongles?
Les ongles, nous les appelons de nails.
De nails. Écoutez, dites-moi si je parle bien de hand, des fingers, de nails.
Ah, c'est bien dit, madame. Il est fort bon anglais.
Dites-moi l'anglais pour les bras.
De arm, madame.
Et le côte?
De elbow.
De elbow. Je me fais la répétition de tous les mots que vous m'avez appris à présent.
Oh, il est très difficile, madame, comme je pense.
Excusez-moi, Alice. Écoutez, the hand, the fingers, the nails, the arm, the elbow.
De elbow, madame.
Oh, Seigneur Dieu, je m'oublie. The elbow. Comment appelez-vous le col?
De neck, madame.
The neck. Et le menton?
De chin.
The chin. Le col, the neck, the menton, the chin, the hand, the fingers, the mouth,
De nails, madame.
the nails, the arm, the elbow.
Soit votre honneur, de elbow.
Ainsi dit, the elbow, the neck et the chin. Comment appelez-vous le pied de la robe?
De foot, madame, et de cône.
Néanmoins, je vais citer une autre formulation ensemble. The hand, the fingers, the nails, the arm, the elbow, the neck, the chin, the foot, the cône. C'est assez pour une fois. Allons-nous dîner.
'Tis certain he hath passed the river Somme.
And if he be not fought withal, my lord, let us not live in France. Let us quit all and give our vineyards to a barbarous people.
Au du vivant, shall a few sprays of us, the emptying of our fathers' luxury, our scions, put in wild and savage stock, spirit up so suddenly into the clouds and overlook their grafters? By faith and honor, our madams mock at us. and plainly say our metal is bred out, and they will give their bodies to the lust of English youth, to new store France with bastard warriors.
Where is Montjoy the herald? Speed him hence. Let him greet England with our sharp defiance. Up, princes, and with spirit of honor edged, more sharper than your swords. Hie to the field. High dukes, great princes, barons, lords, and knights, for your great seats now quit you of great shames. Our Harry England that sweeps through our land with pennons painted in the blood of Harfleur. Go down upon him. You have power enough, and in a captive chariot into Rouen, bring him our prisoner.
This becomes the great. Sorry am I, his numbers are so few, his soldiers sick and famished in their march. For I am sure when he sees our army, he'll drop his heart into the sink of fear, and for achievement offer us his ransom.
Therefore, Lord Constable, haste on Montjoy, and let him say to England that we send to know what willing ransom he will give. Prince Dauphin, you shall stay with us in Rouen.
Not so. I do beseech your majesty.
Oh, be patient, for you shall remain with us. Now forth, Lord Constable, and princes all, and quickly bring us word of England's fall.
My Lord High Constable, you talk of horses and armor.
You are as well provided of both as any prince in the world.
A long night this is. I will not charge my horse with any that treads but on 4 pasterns. Saha, he bounds from the earth as if his entrails were hares. Le cheval volant, the Pegasus, chez les reines des few. When I bestride him, I soar. I am a hawk. He trots the air. The earth sings when he touches it. The basest horn of his hoof is more musical than the pipe of Hermes.
He's of the color of the nutmeg.
And of the heat of the ginger. It is a beast for Perseus. He is pure air and fire, and the dull elements of earth and water never appear in him, but only in patient stillness while his rider mounts him. He is indeed a horse, and all other jades you may call beasts.
Indeed, my lord, it is a most absolute and excellent horse.
It is a prince of palfreys. His neigh is like the bidding of a monarch, and his countenance enforces homage.
No more, cousin.
Nay, the man hath no wit that cannot, from the rising of the lark to the lodging of the lamb, very deserved praise on my palfrey. It is a theme as fluent as the sea, turns the sands into eloquent tongues, and my horse is argument for them all. 'Tis a subject for a sovereign to reason on, and for a sovereign to ride on, and for the world, familiar to us and unknown, to lay apart their particular functions and wonder at him. I once read a sonnet in his praise and began thus, wonder of nature.
I have heard a sonnet begin so to one's mistress.
Then they did imitate which I composed to my courser, for my horse is my mistress.
Your mistress bears well.
'Tis midnight. I'll go arm myself.
The English lie within 1,500 paces of your tents. Oh, would it were day! Alas, poor Harry of England, he longs not for the dawning as we do. What a wretched and peevish fellow is this King of England, to mope with his fat-brained follower so far out of his knowledge. If the English had any apprehension, they would run away.
Now entertain conjecture of a time when the creeping murmur and the pouring dark fills the wide vessel of the universe. From camp to camp, through the foul womb of night, the hum of either army stilly sounds, that the fixed sentinels almost receive the secret whispers of each other's watch. Fire answers fire, and through their paly flames each battle sees the other's umbered face. Steed threatens steed, in high and boastful neighs, piercing the night's dull ear. And from the tents, the armorers, accomplishing the nights with busy hammers, closing rivets up, give dreadful note of preparation. The country cocks do crow, the clocks do toll, and the third hour of drowsy morning name. Proud of their numbers and secure in soul, the confident and over-lusty French do the low-rated English play at dice, and chide the crippled tardy-gated knight, who like a foul and ugly witch doth limp so tediously away. The poor condemned English, like sacrifices by their watchful fires, sit patiently and inly ruminate the morning's danger. And their gestures sad, investing lank lean cheeks and war-worn coats, presenteth them unto the gazing moon. So many horrid ghosts. Oh, now, who will behold the royal captain of this ruined band, walking from watch to watch, from tent to tent? Oh, let him cry praise and glory on his head. Oh, forth he goes, and visits all his host, bids them good morrow with a modest smile, and calls them brothers, friends, and countrymen. Upon his royal face there is no note how dread an army hath enrounded him, nor doth he dedicate one jot of color unto the weary and all-watched night, but freshly looks, and overbears a taint with cheerful semblance and sweet majesty, that every wretch, pining and pale before, beholding him, plucks comfort from his looks. A largesse universal, like the sun, his liberal eye doth give to every one. Thawing cold fear, that mean and gentle all behold as may unworthiness define. A little touch of Harry in the night, and so our scene must to the battle fly.
O God of battles, steel my soldiers' hearts. Possess them not with fear. Take from them now the sense of reckoning if the opposed numbers pluck their hearts from them. Not today, O Lord. Oh, not today. Think not upon the fault my father made encompassing the crown. 500 poor I have in yearly pay, who twice a day their withered hands hold up toward heaven to pardon blood. More will I do, though all that I can do is nothing worth, since that my penitence comes after all, imploring pardon.
my lord, the army stays upon your presence.
Stay, Exeter, stay, and I will go with thee. The day, my friends, and all things stay for me.
To horse, you gallant princes, straight to horse! Do but behold yon poor and starved band, and your fair show shall suck away their souls, leaving them but the shales and husks of men. There's not work enough for all our hands, scarce blood enough in all their sickly veins to give each naked curtleaxe a stain, that our French gallants shall today draw out, and sheathe for lack of sport. Let us but blow on them, the vapor of our valor will o'erturn them, and all is done. Then let the trumpet sound, for our approach shall so much dare the field that England shall couch down in fear and yield.
This day is called the Feast of Crispian. He that outlives this day and comes safe home will stand a tiptoe when the day is named, and rouse him at the name of Crispian. He that shall live this day and see old age will yearly on the vigil feast his neighbors and say, tomorrow is St. Crispian. Then will he strip his sleeve and show his scars and say, these wounds I had on Crispin's day. Old men forget. Yet all shall be forgot, but he'll remember with advantages what feats he did that day. Then shall our names familiar in his mouth as household words. Harry, the king, Bedford and Exeter, Warwick and Talbot, Salisbury and Gloucester, be in their flowing cups freshly remembered. This story shall the good man teach his son, and Crispin Crispian shall ne'er go by from this day to the ending of the world, but we in it shall be remembered. We few, we happy few, we band of brothers. For he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother, be he ne'er so vile. This day shall gentle his condition. And gentlemen in England now abed shall think themselves accursed they were not here, and hold their manhoods cheap whilst any speaks that fought with us upon St. Crispin's day. Now, soldiers, march away, and how thou pleasest God, dispose the day. I was not angry since I came to France until this instant. Take a trumpet, herald. Ride thou unto the horsemen on yon hill. If they will fight with us, bid them come down, or void the field. They do offend our sight. If they'll do neither, we will come to them and make them scurry away as swift as stones, enforced from the old Assyrian slings. Besides, we'll cut the throats of those we have, and not a man of them that we shall take shall taste our mercy. Go and tell them so.
Here comes the herald of the French, my liege. His eyes are humbler than they used to be.
How now? What means this, herald? Knowst thou not that I have fined these bones of mine for ransom? Comest thou again for ransom?
No, great king. I come to thee for charitable license, that we may wander o'er this bloody field to look our dead, and then to bury them, to sort our nobles from our common men. For many of our princes, woe the while, lie drowned and soaked in mercenary blood. So do our vulgar drench their peasant limbs in blood of princes. Oh, give us leave, great king, to view the field in safety and dispose of their dead bodies.
I tell thee truly, herald, I know not if the day be ours or no. For yet are many of your horsemen peer and gallop o'er the field.
The day is yours.
Praised be God, and not our strength for it. What is this castle called that stands hard by?
They call it Agincourt.
Then call we this the field of Agincourt, fought on the day of Crispin Crispianus. Our heralds go with him. Bring me just notice of the numbers dead on both our parts.
Responder and fireman and essential worker. He'll go with his and her last ounce of courage. Glory. Everybody sing it! They are reachable.
Vouchsafe to those who have not read the story, that I may prompt them. And of such as have, I humbly pray them to admit the excuse of time, of numbers, and due course of things, which cannot in their huge and proper life be here presented. Now we bear the king toward Calais. Grant him there. There seen, heave him away upon your winged thoughts athwart the sea. Behold, the English beach pales in the flood with men, with wives and boys, whose shouts and claps outvoice the deep-mouthed sea, which like a mighty whiffler for the king seems to prepare his way. So let him land, and solemnly see him set on to London. Oh, how London doth pour out her citizens, the mayor and all his brethren in best sort, like to the senators of the antique Rome, with the plebeians swarming at their heels. Go forth and fetch their conquering Caesar in. Now in London place him. As yet the lamentations of the French invites the King of England's stay at home. The emperor is coming in behalf of France to order peace between them and omits all the occurrences, whatever chanced, till Harry's back return again to France.
Peace to this meeting wherefore we are met, unto our brother France and to our sister, health and fair time of day, joy and good wishes to our most fair and princely cousin Catherine, and as a branch and member of this royalty by whom this great assembly is contrived, we do salute you, princes, French, and peers. Health to you all.
Right joyous are we to behold your face, most worthy brother England, fairly met. And so are you, princes English, every one.
So happy be the issue, brother England, of this good day and of this gracious meeting, as we are now glad to behold your eyes which hitherto have borne in them against the French that met them in their bent, the fatal balls of murdering basilisks. The venom of such looks we fairly hope have lost their quality, and that this day shall change all griefs and quarrels into love.
To cry amen to that, thus we appear.
You English princes all, I do salute you.
Will you, fair sister, go with the princes, or stay here with us?
Oh, gracious brother, I will go with them. Haply a woman's voice may do some good when articles too nicely urged be stood on.
Yet leave our cousin Catherine here with us? She is our capital demand, comprised within the forerank of our articles.
She hath good leave.
Fair Catherine, and most fair, will you vouchsafe to teach a soldier terms such as will enter at a lady's ear and plead his love suit to her gentle heart?
Your Majesty shall mock at me. I cannot speak your England.
Oh, fair Catherine, if you will love me soundly with your French heart, I will be glad to hear you confess it brokenly with your English tongue. Do you like me, Kate?
Pardonnez-moi, I cannot tell what is like me.
An angel is like you, Kate, and you are like an angel.
Que dit-il? Que je suis semblée à l'ange?
Oui, vraiment, sur votre grâce, ainsi dit-il.
I said so, dear Catherine, and I must not blush to affirm it.
Oh bon Dieu, les langues des hommes sont promptes tomberies.
What says she, fair one? That the tongues of men are full of deceits?
Oui, that the tongues of demands is be full of deceits. That is the princess.
The princess is the better Englishwoman. If faith, Kate, my wooing is fit for thy understanding. I am glad thou canst speak no better English, for if thou couldst, thou wouldst find me such a plain king. I know no ways to mince it in love, but directly to say, I love you. How say you, lady?
So votre honneur, me understand well.
Mary, if you would put me to verses or to dance for your sake, Kate, why, you undid me. For the one, I have neither words nor measure, and for the other, I have no strength in measure, yet a reasonable measure in strength. If I could win a lady at leapfrog, or by bolting into my saddle with my armor on my back, under the correction of bragging be it spoken, I should quickly leap into a wife. I speak to thee, plain soldier. If thou canst love me for this, take me. If not, to say to thee that I shall die is true. But for thy love, by the Lord, no, yet I love thee too. A good heart, Kate, is the sun and the moon, or rather the sun and not the moon, for it shines bright and never changes, but keeps his course truly. If thou would have such a one, take me, and take me, take a soldier. Take a soldier, take a king. And what sayest thou then to my love? Speak, my fair, and fairly I pray thee.
Is it possible that I should love the enemy of France?
No! It is not possible you should love the enemy of France, Kate. But in loving me, you should love the friend of France. For I love France so well that I will not part with a village of it. I will have it all mine. And Kate, when France is mine and I am yours, then yours is France and you are mine.
I cannot tell what is that.
Oh, Kate. I will tell thee in French, which I am sure will hang about my tongue like a new married wife about her husband's neck, hardly to be shook off. Je quen sur la possession de France, et quen vous avez la possession de moi. Let me see what then. Oh, St. Denis be my speed. Donc, votre est France et vous est mien. It is as easy for me, Kate, to conquer the kingdom as to speak so much more French. I shall never move thee in French unless it be to laugh at me.
Sur votre honneur, le français que vous parlez, il est meilleur que le l'anglais le parle.
No, faith, it's not, Kate. But thy speaking of my tongue, and I thine, most true falsely, must needs be granted to be much at one. But, Kate, dost thou understand thus much English? Canst thou love me?
I cannot tell.
Now, fie upon my false French. By mine honor, in true English, I love thee, Kate. Come, your answer in broken music, for thy voice is music, and thy English broken. Therefore, Queen of all, Catherine, break thy mind to me in broken English. Wilt thou have me?
That is all it shall please the Roman pair.
Nay, it will please him well, Kate. It shall please him, Kate.
Then it shall also content me.
Upon that I kiss your hand, and I call you my queen.
Laissez, monseigneur, laissez, laissez. Ma foi, je ne veux point que vous abaissez votre grandeur, Besson, le monde de votre signorine des. Excusez-moi, je vous supplie, mon très puissant seigneur.
Then I will kiss your lips, Kate.
Les dames et demoiselles pour être baissant devant leurs noces. Il n'est pas la coutume de France.
Madam, my interpreter, what says she?
That it is not been the fashion for the ladies of France. I cannot tell what is basse en English.
To kiss.
Oh, your majesty, entendre better quoi?
It is not a fashion for the maids of France to kiss before they are married, would she say?
Oui, vraiment.
Oh, Kate. Nice customs, curtsy to great kings. Dear Kate, you and I cannot be confined within the weak list of a country's fashion. We're the makers of manners, Kate, and the liberty that follows our places stops the mouth of all fine faults, as I will do yours for upholding the nice fashion of your country in denying me a kiss, therefore patiently and yielding. You have witchcraft in your lips, Kate. There's more eloquence in a sugar touch of them than in the tongues of the French council, and they should sooner persuade Harry of England than a general petition of monarchs. Here comes your father. Shall Kate be my wife?
So please you.
I pray you then, in love and dear alliance, let that one article rank with the rest, and thereupon give me your daughter.
Take her, fair son, and from her blood raise up issue to me, that the contending kingdoms of France and England, whose very shores look pale with envy of each other's happiness, may cease their hatred, and this dear conjunction plant neighborhood and Christian-like accord in their sweet bosoms, that never war advance his bleeding sword twixt England and fair France.
Amen.
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 Now welcome, Kate, and bear me witness all that here I kiss her as my sovereign queen.
God, the best maker of all marriages, combine your hearts in one, your realms in one. As man and wife being two are one in love, so be there twixt your kingdoms such a spousal that never may ill office or fell jealousy, which troubles oft the bed of blessed marriage, thrust in between the paction of these kingdoms to make divorce of their incorporate league, that English may as French Englishmen receive each other. God speak this. Amen.
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 Prepare we for our marriage, we'll take your oath, and all the peers for surety of our leagues. Then shall I swear to Kate and you to me, and may our oaths well kept and prosperous be.
Oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention, a kingdom for a stage, princes to act, and monarchs to behold the swelling sea. Then should the warlike Harry, like himself, assume the port of Mars, and at his heels, leashed in like hounds, should famine, sword, and fire crouch for employment. But pardon, gentles all, the flat, unraised spirits that have on this unworthy scaffold dared to bring forth so great an object. Can this cockpit hold the vasty fields of France,